I thought while I was fiddle-farting, piddling around out here, guys, trying to get this bloody wheel off, look. That's been sitting out in that long grass in the wet for so long that it's all got that rust right around here. And that bloody thing won't come out. I had the same thing on my van. I had to bang them and all sorts to get them out. But I want to tell you a quick story about my truck while I'm here. When I very first bought this truck, it's got that 6.0 Ford. I'm sucking on a Mento, by the way. It's got that bad or not bad or whatever you want to call it, 6.0 Ford diesel in it, right? And I knew about that when I bought it. I knew that they were a little problematic or whatever, but I went ahead and bought it anyway. And it was a beautiful running truck when I bought it. Perfect, no oil leaks or anything. It just ran real nice, and I was real happy to get it, and I ran it for a long time. And then one day I got all excited and I wanted to do an oil change, and I wanted to do brakes on it, and I did all the fuel filters and everything on it. You know, I really wanted to, I put in some different turbo inlet pipes and all that kind of thing. I just had a new turbo on it, I had all sorts. Anyway, but what I did was I went on eBay and I was looking at trying to change out the fuel filters a bunch of times, you know, trying to purge out all the crap. So I bought some cheap fuel filters for it off eBay, the ones that go in the top, right? The little, you got to unscrew it on the top of the engine, haven't you, a little cap. Anyway, I bought some of them and I put them in, and when I put that first one in there and I tightened the cap down, I thought, that feels a bit weird. You know, it didn't feel like the old one that I took out, the Ford Motorcraft one, right? So anyway, I'm running up and down the road, everything's great. And all of a sudden it's like the whole engine goes wide open and it billows out a whole bunch of black and blue smoke, and that thing just goes to shit. Like I limped at home, got back to the house, and it was like all the injectors were stuck wide open, right? And that's exactly what it was. And I'll tell you what happened. Those cheap eBay fuel filters that I had bought, ended up, I still had 3 or 4 of them left, and I had a brand new Motorcraft one also. And when I sat them together, the cheap eBay ones were like 1/8 of an inch, or like maybe, I don't know, I don't do those, like under 1/4 of an inch, but a little bit higher than the original Motorcraft ones, right? So when I tightened that down to the correct, you know, the torque on the top of the fuel filter housing, it had twisted and cracked and shattered that frickin' cheap Chinese fuel filter, and all that crap got sucked down into the fuel system and blocked up all my injectors. And this thing, after maybe owning it about 3 or 4 weeks, had to go in and have all the injectors done and all this kind of thing. And this is why I keep working on it now, because I caused that, really. It wasn't the engine that shit it up, you know, it was my fault. I put in a shitty, cheap, you know, I should have gone with Motorcraft, what it said in the book and everything like that, but I put in a cheap, shitty one just to get through, and I buggered it up. So I've had this thing for 6 years now. I built the bed on it, you know, out of wood and all this kind of thing, and it's just like my passion project now. I love the bloody thing because I ruined it, and I just feel like I want to keep on keeping it going, you know. So it sits around for a while because the, you know, other things on the engine went bad. Now it's sat in the grass for so long, it's all rusted out. So I've got to do the front discs and pads on both sides. I've got to put a new wheel bearing on the driver's side. I've got to redo the seal around the rear pinion bearing on the drive shaft. Needs to be done because that's dripping that's losing all my fluid, you know what I mean? And gosh, what else? Oh, there's a coolant leak, some kind of coolant leak on the top half of the engine I've got to fix. There's a pipe or something I've got to tighten up, and then she's all done. She's had all sorts of stuff, believe me, new turbos, new turbo lines. I got brand new batteries for it. It's had 6 tires when I got it. It was, you know, I had all the cab corners redone. I did every bloody thing on it, and it's actually rusted from sitting here. Look, just in the yard. Look, I painted and did bed liner on all of that under there, and you just about see it on the corner here. Look, but I had new corners put on it and everything, and that just from sitting out here not being used for the last couple of years, that's all rusted out, the buggers. So yeah, but we're working on it. But I'll have that wheel off and have the brakes done, and we'll get out and finally do some ploughing this year, hopefully, and we'll see what happens. Anyway, there's the story on that old truck, guys, if you want to hear it. 4.5 minutes. See you later, guys. Happy Sunday. Bye.